What is up, everybody? Escape211 here, and today we're doing a comparison video, a versus video. Been a minute since I've done one of these, but I've had quite a few people ask me about these two weapons that we're going to compare today, and that is the Railgun 16, boom, there it is, and the Disc Launcher 12. Both of these are on the progress path, and they're both a big investment. I think both of them are great to get, but most people ask me which one should I get first. So I want to compare the usual stuff where we talk about the availability, the upgradability, and the damage between these two to see which one is the better one to focus on overall or first. So with that said, here we go. First off, we're going to talk about availability in terms of getting these weapons and then maintaining them. And if we go on the progress path, both of these are further down for sure, but the Disc Launcher 12 is at 38,400 XP. And that's a decent amount, but the Railgun 16 is way further down the progress path. So we're gonna scroll down just so you can see how far this guy is in comparison. This is actually the last item that you get on the progress path. It's even after our big boy Brickhouse coming up here. Where is he? And it's after that. Oh, there we go. There's the Railgun 16. 172,800 XP. So that is a beastly difference in terms of the XP and when you can get them right away. But both of these are pretty costly items, so it's not like you're going to get them right away. So let's talk about the other factors involved in getting each of these items, all right? First of all, let's look at the Railgun. The Railgun 16, to get it off the progress path, is 8,275 acoins. That is a huge chunk of change and is pretty darn costly. So, you know, that's a big thing to consider. The other thing that a lot of people worry about is dual wielding these weapons or getting their second copy for dual wielding because that's usually what people do in the end game. And with the Railgun's case, you have a limited number of options for how you can dual wield it because it focuses on the max needed energy. So there's limited mechs and limited ways that you can dual wield this weapon. Now, when we look at the Disc Launcher 12, first off, it is 7,500 acoins to get off of the progress path. So already we're looking at about 1,000 less acoins to be able to get this weapon from the progress path. Kind of expected because it's less energy, but you also have to consider the idea of dual wielding this like we were just talking about with the Railgun 16. For this one, it's going to be easier to dual wield because you're going to be able to do this on a max 32 energy mech when it's only at 5 stars. Now, of course, you can max out a mech like I've done here with Ares, but you could also put this on Panther or Guardian when they are only 5 stars and be able to dual wield this weapon. So it gives you some ease and flexibility to set it up with less resources there. Now, in terms of upgrading these to 6 stars or maxing them out with both of these weapons, because they're both legendary on the progress path, it's going to be the same cost there, so I'm not going to get into that. But when we look at the idea of the initial cost to get, it's XP, and the idea of dual wielding, the Disc Launcher 12s definitely win out in the availability category. All right, next we're going to look up the rank up ability, and since these both come at 5 stars if you get them on the progress path, you won't really notice these rank up abilities, but they do have them listed here, and if you bought this at a lesser star ranking, you will actually be able to see the benefit of the rank up. We're going to look at each of these. The exact damage radius is the one we get on the Disc Launcher 12. I don't know the exact numbers on this and how it compares specifically like number-wise with other damage radius weapons, but I do know it's quite powerful on the Disc Launchers. So this is a very useful ability. So if we look at the Railgun 16, its rank up ability is the double damage chance. This is where you can practically dust someone in one shot, like one shot kills. So that will go up as you upgrade it as well and be at 15%. Like I said, typically you get these out of box, but let's discuss which one is overall better in usage. So let's look at the Railgun 16 first. This weapon has been around for a long time, and the idea of its double damage chance has been in game for a bit. I think they actually went a little higher with the double damage chance, so it got a slight buff in that sense. But since you've been able to dual wield these, you can do massive damage when you shoot them together and pretty much ensure a kill on almost anything. But you still can fire them individually and have a chance of killing certain targets in one shot as well. So the double damage chance certainly comes into play and is very useful when it goes off. The problem is that it's a 15% chance, and I'm not sure when you add 15 to 15 what percentage chance that is. Maybe it's like 19-ish, something like that, percent of getting one of these to go off in a volley, but it is still a very potent ability, and that's why it's always been useful, even when we had the Thanos builds back in the day, but dual wielding makes it even stronger. So very good ability, very useful. But now we got to look at the Disc Launcher 12 and its rank up ability, which is the exact damage radius. And if you've used the disc launchers at all, you know a big part of this weapon is its splash damage. It has a good splash damage base to start with, then it has this rank up ability, and then you can further that even with pilots and implants. So it gets insane splash damage where you don't necessarily even need to have lock on your target to still be doing hits on the the enemy that you're looking for. So really good at getting like group kills, monster kills, hitting people around corners. So it's insane with its viability of how this whole rank up of it works. So when you look at its rank up ability and how it compares, I have to go in favor of the Disc Launcher 12 in terms of how good it makes this weapon overall. And the last category we're going to look at is the damage on these overall. So if we go to the Disc Launcher 12, its damage per magazine is a little over 24k, about 4k per shot. And then when we look at its magazine 6 and reload speed 6.6, so not bad overall. I would say maybe a little bit lower on the side of a 12 energy weapon, but let's compare that with the Railgun 16. So we'll back out, go over to that here, and you'll see that this is significantly higher. It is 58k, almost like 60, and then per shot almost 20k, so massively different. It only has 3 per magazine though, and the reload is much higher. It reloads on the fly though, so each shot takes about 8 seconds per reload. So on paper, the Railgun 16 definitely looks like the clear winner here, because you're talking about like each shot even is practically the same as the whole clip damage that you're getting out of the Disc Launcher 12. Now the Disc Launcher 12 has some other benefits like we talked about in terms of its splash damage, and even when you add the splash damage, you're going to be doing side and back damage. So its damage values in the field are better than on paper, but even after considering this, you're still getting way more damage per shot and per clip out of the Railgun than you are out of the Disc Launcher 12, and that should be expected, like I said, because it's a higher caliber weapon. So overall, given its damage values on paper and in the field being more overall, and even having the double damage chance that you can do, the Railgun 16 should win here in the damage category. So then we have to ask who wins overall. This can be a little tricky because even though the Disc Launcher won a couple of the other categories in its function and ease of use, the overall raw damage output of the Railgun is nothing to sneeze at, all right? And like I said, these are both weapons that you're gonna wanna get, but the question is which one should you get first? In terms of your overall progression, as well as like ease of use and everything in the game, I really think that the Disc Launcher is gonna be a better weapon for you to get. Not only is it super meta, super good, and probably one of the best weapon sets in the game, it's one that is going to be easier for you to get and then maintain early on. The Railgun 16 requires a little bit more skill in its aiming quality that you got to do, as well as direct line of sight. Yeah, it can do really good long range shooting, but the Disc Launcher can actually shoot pretty long range too with its splash damage, which is insane, like I said already. So there are a lot of benefits to this weapon, and I think that out of the two, if you're going to be focusing on one or the other to get and which first, the Disc Launcher 12 is definitely the one to choose. That's going to be it for this video, guys. Like I said, both of these are great weapons, and I actually recommend getting both of them for when you're thinking of end game or top end hangers. I certainly have both in my hanger, but out of the two, I definitely rely and use the Disc Launcher 12 more, and I probably will in the 16 once I eventually get that. So that's my overall thoughts on these two weapons and the comparison. What do you guys think? Do you think one is better than the other? Which one do you like more? Feel free to comment below your thoughts about these two, and we'll see you out there on the battlefield.